Hi, and welcome back to My Nana's Apron. I wanted to show you a picture painted by a very good friend of ours. She's actually a very good friend of my daughter, but when you're a mother and your children have friends, you consider them most of the time as your second daughters or second sons. This is from Rita. I'm not going to say the last name, but I love her. She was my daughter's friend. She still is my daughter's friend. And she painted it for us, I believe, right before we moved here. And I've had it up on my wall, but I never shown a picture of it. So I want to show you my beautiful picture. And we're going to make a tamale pie today. And it's very good, and I hope you enjoy it. We'll be back. Okay, we're going to start out with 2 pounds of ground beef. I didn't bore you with me cooking the ground beef. You know how to cook ground beef. And what I want to do is I've cut my vegetables and it's ready to come in here. But what I want to do first is I want to take 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. And they always say to cook your tomato paste first. Come on. Okay. So I want to cook this tomato paste so that it touches the bottom of the pan. I just drained the liquid out of it. When you freeze meats, hamburger especially, they tend to release a lot of liquid because of the freezing process. See how I'm doing? I'm just kind of pushing it down to where it's going to cook a little bit. And I don't want the meat to burn. I've got it on medium right now. So now I'm going to add my veggies, and this will add liquid to the meat so it won't burn. So I got to cook down the vegetables to where they're soft, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, the vegetables have softened. And then since they have softened, now I want to add my garlic. And cook it for 1 minute. And we like a lot of garlic, so I'm going to add a tablespoon. I think I'll stop there. I get carried away sometimes. You can add a teaspoon if you don't like it that much, because a lot of people don't. That's personal taste. So make it however you want, to where your family likes it. Okay, then we're going to throw in a small can, and this is a 4-ounce can of diced chilies. I have these on my shelf all the time. The reason is if I run out of bell peppers, I use these, and it's got a mild taste. It's not hot, and it does. Some of them are hot, so you got to watch when you buy them. But they don't get too hot, so I just grab them. Okay, get those stirred in. Now the seasonings. I've got homemade taco seasoning here. And if you don't have homemade, you use the packets. And I recommend McCormick gluten-free. And so I'm going to do, let's see how much is left in my container. There's 2 tablespoons, 3, okay, 4. This taco seasoning is on my website. I show you how to do it. And what it is 2 tablespoons per pound of meat. And I have 2 pounds of meat in here, so I need 4 tablespoons. Okay. Season the meat up fine. It's always good to season your meat first. And then the wet ingredients will come now. We've got a can of tomato sauce. And I'm going to put in some chipotle sauce that you get from buying a can of chipotle peppers. And what it is roasted smoked jalapenos. I don't want to add too much. I think 2 tablespoons would be fine. If you like it hotter, my daughter adds the whole can. So it's up to you how much heat you want. Smells so good. I love chipotle. And then I'm going to hold off on the can of corn until I get this mixed in. Can you give me a little bit of water in this can? Maybe half a can, babe. To me, it didn't look like it had enough liquid, so I'm going to add a little bit more. That also rinses your can of tomato sauce out to get the rest of the sauce out. Okay, let me get this bubbling, and then we'll add the rest of the stuff. Okay, it's starting to bubble. That's good. I'm going to add a can of drained corn. You can add beans. I prefer, in something like this, the black beans or the pinto beans. And do whatever you want. If you like the other beans, put them in here. I just wanted corn today. I like corn in Mexican cooking. It's one of my favorites. Now this is pretty thick, which is okay. I'm going to let it come up to a simmer, and that way we can see how thick it is. It's caused by the tomato paste. And right before we pour it into the pie pan, which cameraman Paul will help me with, we'll pour it into the pie pan, and then we've got to top it with the cornmeal topping. So let me cook this for a while. We'll be back after we get it in the pie pan and show you the rest of the recipe. Okay, we have our mixture. We dumped it into a deep dish pie pan, which most people use their cast iron skillets, but mine's unseasoned right now and I have to re-season it. I haven't used it that much because it's kind of heavy for me, but it really did lose its non-stick seasoning. So now I got to do the topping of the tamale pie. And I had a little hiccup. My masa that you relate to tamales didn't smell right. And you have to watch your flours. If you keep them in the cupboard too long, they get stale. They don't smell that great. And mine was just at the tail end of its expiration date. And I should have kept it in the freezer or the refrigerator, but I didn't. So I had to change to a cornbread topping, a box that I had in my cupboard. And I had to use Bob's Red Meal because the brand that I was using had milk in it. So what I'm going to do is switch it up a little bit And it's basically going to be a cornbread casserole, but we're not going to nitpick, are we? So let me mix this up for you. And I've got one box or bag, Bob's Red Mill comes in a bag, of cornmeal mix. And you can use any brand you want. Just read the labels, because if you're dairy free, you can't have a lot of them. If you're not, you're fine. So just read the labels and do what you need to do for your dietary needs. First of all, I'm going to substitute the milk that's in the recipe for chicken broth. Only because I had the chicken broth measured out for the topping that I was going to do with the masa. But since it was bad, I thought, well, what's it going to hurt if I use chicken broth to see how that's going to come out. And then I've got to do a 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil, canola oil. Okay, let me look for 1/3, which is right there, and then I'll pour that in. Mix it up. And remember what I said, once you get it mixed up, you gotta let it set. And that way the moisture can get into the gluten-free flours that's in any kind of gluten-free recipe. Okay, let me mix this up and let it sit, and I'll be right back. Okay, our cornbread mix has rested, and I'm going to take it with this big spoon and put it on the casserole. Now this might be too much for the casserole, so if I have any left, I'll make little cupcakes. Okay, I'm going to stop here, spread it out, and see what we've got, because I don't want to put too much on here. It's loaded down enough. Try to get it to the edges as much as you can. Now, if you notice, I put the pie pan onto a sheet cake pan. And the reason behind that is this looks pretty ready to leak out of there. And I don't want it to go down into the bottom of my oven. I think it needs a little bit more. So let me spread this out best I can. As you can see, I'm doing a circular motion. Now there's not going to be enough for a cupcake. Let me just pour it all on here and it'll be all puffed out. Puffy, puffy. Boop. I like to play with my food. And I put cilantro into the meat mixture. If I had extra, I would put it on the top. But I forgot to save some. So now we're going to put it in a 350 degree oven for 30 to 45 minutes. Keep an eye on it at 30. And cameraman Paul will put this in the oven for me. I can see where it's already trying to leak out of the sides. So it's a good thing we put it on the sheet. I'll be back to show you what it looks like. This is our finished product. Doesn't it look awesome? Okay, I'm going to take a break and then I'm going to come back and put some on a plate and taste it and tell you what it tastes like. Thanks for joining us today, and I hope you have subscribed to my channel. If you haven't, please click the subscribe button. Tell all your friends about it. Now I'm going to take a bite out of this beautiful tamale pie. And it's overflowing. Whoops. Daggone it. There was too much in there. Okay. I'm going to let it cool for a second. And I want to let you all know how much we love you. And we appreciate you joining us. And I hope you have a good Halloween. It's right around the corner. And so, let me take a bite of this. Get a little bit of the cornbread. And a little bit of the meat. And veggies. And then I gotta blow it because it's really, really hot. Mm-hmm. 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 I like the way it's not like tacos. It's more like a casserole, which is what we meant it to be. It's a little bit spicy, but I held back on the spices because I can't handle a lot of spices. But what happens is my husband's got hot sauce, so he can add heat to it where I don't have to taste it. And I hope you come back. We love you. Bye.